Jeremy Pyatt, Realtor Auctioneer, Christian County Farm Bureau, Hamlin Jones Excavating and Drainage, Ayers Bank in Moweaqua, First National Bank of Taylorville, and Harlow Industrial Services.
WTIM. You're listening to the WTIM Morning Show on your information station, sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first and landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and my next guest is Dan Huff. And Dan is the director of the Montgomery County Emergency Management Agency. Dan, thanks for coming on this morning.
Hey, thanks, Reed. Good to be on here today.
Yeah, no, it's good to talk to you as second time on in my time hosting this show, as we try to clarify before you got on here. So and we come on just about week and a half after some pretty severe weather that hit the central Illinois area. I certainly was in touch with what was going on in Christian and Shelby counties, and I'm curious to get the emergency management agency's view on what happened in Montgomery County and what you folks found.
Yeah, this has been a busy season so far. We've had our fair share of weather. So in the last couple of weeks, we've had several inches of rain. That's been our primary experience so far is 3-4 inches of rainfall at a time. And then this year we've seen quite a bit of hail, anywhere from pea size to dime size to even some ping pong size hail in the area. We've avoided, and I'm hesitant to say it at this point, but we've avoided any major storm damage. We've seen it to the south of us, and we've seen it to the north of us. So we're very fortunate in that. But we've not let our guard down in that aspect. I've got some good volunteers who helped me out, Doug White and Mark Lewis. They monitor the weather quite a bit. They're ham radio operators, so they monitor what comes across from Macoupin and Madison County. They stay on top of it for me, and that helps alert people. So we're in touch with our local contacts, and then we also monitor our National Weather Service out of Lincoln and out of St. Louis to keep us informed with the briefings daily. So to this point, we've just experienced a lot of rain, hail, not a lot of damaging winds or anything to that nature. Oddly enough, 1 week after we had 3 or 4 inches of rain, we also had experienced some dust storms in the Farmersville, Wagner area, which was almost to 3 years to the date of when we had that major dust storm back May 1st, when we experienced 75 cars and some fatalities, that occurred then in some very dry conditions. So, even after rain of 3 to 4 inches, conditions can change quickly, and we can experience dust blowing with zero visibility. So that's kind of what we've been dealing with here, and hopefully we don't have any of that destructive storm activity.
Yeah, so it seems like busy a week and a half, 2 weeks for you folks, at least in terms of some of the conditions that have come through. I know preparedness is a big thing you folks are about at the Montgomery County EMA. You talked a lot about that last time you were on, if I remember correctly, but I would imagine so. And I know that was something you were wanting to talk about kind of as we get into the summer months. Well, again, it certainly feels like we have, and I'm curious of what you have to share in terms of preparedness and what folks can maybe do to keep themselves safe.
Yeah, weather is something that changes quickly, and what we think is going to happen. Sometimes Mother Nature throws us a curveball, and we can think that it's just going to be the routine thunderstorm, and yet it can ramp up to more severe levels. So be weather ready. That's the main thing. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Stay in tune with the media. Be it the radio stations, the news media, or on social media. Find a reliable source of weather. Stay in tune with that. Sign up for notifications on your phones. Create a communications plan with your family so that everybody knows what to do in the event of severe weather. Practice that plan. Make sure that they have that embedded in their minds and in their drills as they know what to do. So it's a common reaction. Prepare your home for that. Make sure that your branches are trimmed back and don't cause damage to your home or windows. And then help your neighbors. Make sure that if you've got an elderly neighbor or someone who has disabilities, make sure that they're okay throughout the storm season. Maybe get trained with some first aid, CPR, things like that. So that's being prepared is more than just understanding what tornadoes look like and what size of hail to report. It's being prepared within yourself and within your family and within your home.
And it seems like something you emphasized and something that maybe that folks might think about is like not just having the plans, but like really knowing about them as well. Because you can make plans all you want, but then when the moment comes, when the time comes, right, it sounds like it's important to really know what to do, so that way you're not panicking and having to figure that out in the moment. Would you kind of agree with that take?
Oh yeah, whether it's a plan for weather or whether it's a plan for a vacation or whether it's a plan for a fire drill, the thing of it is, if you know your plan and you know what to do when that time comes, everything is going to be a lot easier for you to cope with and to deal with the situation as it arises or as it comes to you. If you're planning for a vacation, you start well in advance and you start working towards that date. Well, same thing goes whenever we're talking about emergency planning. We want to plan for that day when it comes, and we are prepared for it when it gets here so that we know what we're to do and how we're to do it. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that we're prepared in all aspects.
And that's what it's all about at the Montgomery County Emergency Management Agency. And I'm talking to their director, Dan Huff, right now. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation right here on the WTIM Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
It's now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Lower across the board with corn, beans, and Chicago wheat. May corn down 10.5, $4.55. July corn down a dime, $4.70. December new crop, $4.90 3/4, down 9 3/4. May beans down 17.5, $11.78 1/4. July beans down 18.5, $11.93. And November new crop, $11.72 3/4, down 16 3/4. May Chicago wheat, $5.98 1/4, down 18 1/4. May KC wheat down 9 3/4, $6.67 May bean meal up 40 cents, $3.23 even. May bean oil 76.70, down to $1.70. Livestock trade, May feeders $372.45, up 62 cents. June live cattle up 7 cents, $253.30. May lean hogs down $1.02, $91.77. Energy market, July Brent crude oil down 807, 101.80. RFD Radio Network.
When you need cardiology care in the Decatur area, your heart deserves more. At Memorial Specialty Care, we are continuing to invest, expanding and enhancing our team to bring more expertise to the area. From specialists who use advanced imaging and technology for diagnosis and testing, to doctors who are skilled in the latest treatments, we are making sure you get more of the heart services you deserve close to home. Tell your referring physician you want your heart cared for at Memorial Specialty Care in Decatur.
I'm Will Perkins, President and CEO of Taylorville Community Credit Union. TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Hart Media Group Community Spotlight, allowing a different nonprofit organization to be highlighted on WTIM, WMKR, and WRAN each month.
Summer is calling at Camp Widgiewagon, located right on Lake Springfield. Enjoy days filled with rock wall climbing, swimming, canoeing, and making lifelong friends in a space where every girl can be herself. From archery to arts and crafts, the fun starts here. And the best part, camp is open to all girls. You don't have to be a Girl Scout to join the fun, so bring a friend and let's make some memories. Want to keep the adventure going all year long? Now is the perfect time to become a Girl Scout. Visit getyourgirlpower.org to register for camp or start your Girl Scout journey.
TCCU is proud to be the exclusive sponsor of the Hart Media Group Community Spotlight. Come join us. You'll wonder why you waited. Member NCUA.
Pana schools provide excellence in education and are rooted in the Pana community. Become a part of Panther Pride and find out the great things happening in Pana schools by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Jansen's Heating and Air is the home of Dr. Comfort, focusing on customer care for heating and air conditioning across Central Illinois for some 35 years. Find out their services, specials, and coupons by clicking their icon on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
And welcome back to the WTIM Morning Show and your information station. It's sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first and landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and I continue my conversation with Dan Huff, the director of the Emergency Management Agency at Montgomery County. I almost mixed up some of the words there. And Dan, I understand you've got a pretty important meeting coming up with some folks from the National Weather Service, and I'd love if you could fill in our listeners about what that's about and how it may impact them down the line.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, the last couple of years here, the area, Montgomery, Bond, Fayette, Summit Christian, has been without the NOAA radio warning system. So we've not had that ability to get that warning. So today at 10 o'clock here, I am going to have the new meteorologist in charge of the St. Louis office is going to come and meet with me. We're going to go and look at a couple sites here in Montgomery County to be the host site for that equipment. It's a lengthy process. It's been something that we've worked hard at trying to get that back up and operational. It's just taken a lot to get that done. But at the end of this meeting today, I hope, and I've got my fingers crossed, and it's looking really good right now that we are going to have a site here in Montgomery County that will cover this region with the NOAA radio warning system. I get calls weekly about when it's going to get back on the air, but I have high hopes today after talking with Brian, the meteorologist in charge with St. Louis, that we are going to come to an agreement on a site and have that radio back on the air in very shortly. So it's looking good. So that is part of the warning system. That's part of what we need in this area to give our people fair warning in the event of a storm. And we need that. I have talked to the legislators. I've talked to the National Weather Service. There's been some issues with finances and budgetary things. So we need to get this back on the air, and we're doing our part here at the Montgomery County to be that host site for them.
So you mentioned it was a NOAA warning system. So is this related to like the emergency alert system that like comes on radio stations like this one, or is this related to like NOAA weather radios, or what's that about?
It's the NOAA radio that we all can tune in to. It's what you buy, the public alert system. So you still are able to host that through your radio station, but this is the one that we would have in our homes that tunes in to that out of St. Louis. This was the Hillsboro radio station. I don't have the frequency off the top of my head, but it's the one that would, if we had a tornado warning here in Montgomery County or Fayette, it would pop that alert and would set our radios off at home and give us that warning.
Yeah. No, I have to cut you off there, but I wanted to get that clarification in. Dan Huff, director of the Montgomery County Emergency Management Agency. Dan, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Reed.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville. 96.1 FM Taylorville. 107.5 FM Shelby.